I'm Scott Hess, tax and business consultant.
I'm John Barton, small business owner. Remember the tortoise and the hare? Slow and steady wins the race.
We started Turtlesmith to help people start small businesses, providing information and resources to small business owners and entrepreneurs.
Build a solid foundation and forge your dreams.
This is always annoying to ask, but if you're liking this content, please like and subscribe. It's the best way for us to get more followers and more people engaged in this great business content. You can also follow us on all socials at TurtlesmithOK and find us at turtlesmith.com. Hey, well, we are back for another Turtlesmith podcast, except for this time, I got the great Dylan with me instead of John. John took vacation for spring break with his kids instead of focusing on work. What a jackass, but you know, it is what it is.
How dare he do that?
I know, right? How dare he take vacation with his children instead of work?
And how dare you only introduce Dylan? You didn't even introduce me.
What? You're here every time.
I know, but I don't never talk.
I mean, sometimes you do, mostly because John gets confused and asks questions and
Fair enough.
He needs information, but it's, or I get confused, to be fair. But I'm a little confused on what we're talking about today, so I'm excited. You guys are going to introduce some topics, and we're going to go over some stuff.
It's speaking of John shucking his work responsibilities for spring break, we're going to talk about spring break. And it's more so, what are the spending habits of 18 to 25-year-olds?
I mean, just disastrous, right?
Well, you know, I think their priorities are different.
Fair.
What do you think, Dylan?
Yeah, I think priorities are definitely different. I mean, when I was in college, spring break was kind of like, we really had to like save and, you know, like find deals and figure out what hotel or Airbnb could fit the most of us for the least amount of money. And
those were the best trips, though.
yeah.
The best trips I've ever had I enjoy the vacations I take now. They're way different than vacations I took when I was in my 20s. Yeah, it's a lot of fun to get packed into an Airbnb with way too many people and fighting over beds and cooking huge meals and not having enough beer money.
Yeah.
Is that the key to it, though? Is the pooling of resources? Is that how you kind of pull it off? Because there's some of these spring break locations and destinations and stuff like that I just can't imagine the average college kid being able to afford.
Oh, I mean, it's the parents paying for those, right? You know, mommy and daddy are trust funds springing for the big fun, Cancun or Destin, Florida or whatever. Yeah, we were in cabins in the woods, or one year we saved enough to go to Vegas, and we got a hotel room for 6 of us, one double bedroom for 6 of us. And I booked a whole week, and we were going to stay in Vegas a week, and we made it 3 days before everybody went broke. They lost all their money gambling and all their money partying. And on day 4, everybody's like, we're out of money. What do we do now? So we just ended up driving back.
Let me see. So when you were in college, Scott, what was the top spring break destination that people were going to?
Oh, it was Mexico, like the big one. Everybody, all the fraternities and sororities went to Cancun or Cabo.
Okay.
A bunch of my friends went to Destin, Florida, to the beach. Or I don't think anybody could afford Miami that I was friends with, but like that was the Florida or Mexico were the big spots.
What about you, Dylan?
I think those were probably the hot spots. I mean, me and my friends, we planned things that were like drivable because we didn't have flight money. So we went to like Denver. We did one to Galveston.
Denver was fun. I did one there.
Yeah. When I went to Denver, we had one day in Denver, and then for the rest of the week, I think we were going to stay there for like 6 or 7 days. COVID happened, and like Denver shut down. Like we couldn't even like leave the house really.
For COVID, I was in Hawaii.
Oh.
We were having fun in Hawaii, but it was actually to spread my dad's ashes. So a little bit of a sad story, but we traveled out there and early March of 2019, and we stayed through my birthday, the 25th of March, and then COVID started rampaging. And I thought I was going to get stuck there, which worse places in the world than Hawaii to get stuck, but I think I would have gone broke trying to stay there.
Oh, facts.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense.
Well, it says here that when we're looking at the primary spending habits of 18 to 25-year-olds, typically it's going to go fashion and beauty, then technology, then dining out and socializing, so restaurants, bars, clubs, and then experiences, so concerts, travel, and events. Those are like the top 4 things that 18 to 25-year-olds spend their money on. I know Scott, the accountant and businessman in you, probably sees a lot of holes in that as far as what you could be doing.
Is fashion and beauty the number one?
It is. Fashion and beauty is the number 1.
That shit's expensive.
But is that skewed? Maybe I was very uncool in a college. My group, we played Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer and games like that. And our big adventures was like we'd go to the bar and then we'd go to somebody's house. And so we weren't like the cool kids. But I think maybe in my entire college career, I spent like $200 on fashion and beauty. I just used to shave my head when my hair got too long. And I don't think I didn't do any regiments.
What about, I think that could be a little skewed between the genders.
Was it skewed between the genders or skewed between the times? Because I'm about 10 years older than you.
Yeah.
And I don't really feel like any man my age did anything like that. I mean, I know women, a lot of makeup, a lot of accessories, a lot of fashion stuff, but now maybe more young men are spending money on that stuff. It's good. You should be,
Yeah. I definitely think skincare has just increased in general over like younger generations. Maybe that's just because we see it more on social media. It's like more in our face.
I do it now as an adult. So I wonder if kids are,
And
I
maybe,
say kids, 20-year-olds are doing it now.
Well, it says here 18 to 25-year-olds exhibit spending habits focused on experiences, technology, and curated fashion, with an average monthly spend of roughly $3,863, the lowest among age groups due to fewer fixed responsibilities. They heavily use buy now, pay later services, prioritize sustainability, and spend about $250 a month on social activities.
Are you telling me that kids in their 20s are spending $3,000 a month?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Good Lord. That's a lot
That's
of money.
more than I spend now, like currently.
When I was 20, I lived off of $1,200 a month. I got, my dad would give me $500 a month, and then I made $700 at my job, cash after taxes and everything. And so that's what I lived on.
Well,
I can't imagine $3,000. Man, I would have been living on the high hog on that one.
I never had a safety net, and after I moved out and I was actually living halfway across the country, with my job and everything, I think I was close to spending around like maybe $2,800 a month ish, because I remember my rent was only about $800 a month, and then we had, I had vehicle, cell phone, all that kind of stuff, and then we did spend the majority of our money on experiences, going out to bars, clubs, going on road trips and things like that.
That's good.
Yeah, I would say like something I remember in college is a lot of my friends and just like people in general is like we would be like, oh, I have to wait until I get paid, and like no one's really thinking about like saving. They're like, how can I like have this so that we can either go out twice a week or so that we can buy, like I do remember like kind of shopping was kind of a big thing, like, but we would go to like Plato's Closet, like resale stuff, Goodwill, or even then like I think Shein just like came out when we were in college, or like Ipsy was a new thing where you paid $10 a month and you get like 5 different makeup products / skincare, and like I was in a sorority in college, and like the amount of boxes at the front door was just piled high. Like everyone was online shopping. Like Amazon blew up.
I did a fraternity for 1 week and then I bailed.
Yeah.
Was not for me. Yeah, 1 week. I was a Kappa Sigma, and then I decided that was not the lifestyle for me. But I'll fuck you guys up on rent. What's the lowest you ever paid in rent?
The lowest I've ever paid in rent is that split or just by myself?
Yeah,
straight
what
up?
you had to pay out of pocket.
What I had to pay about $450.
What about you?
That's about the same. Yeah.
My lowest rent for about 2.5 years was $250.
Get out.
All bills included.
Get out of here.
That's internet, utilities, water, and my place. I shared a master bedroom with one other person. We had 9 people living in a 3-bedroom house.
That's crazy.
It was so fun, but there was zero privacy.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
It was like a dorm room. It was crazy.
It's like 2 people in the bathroom and 3 people waiting.
Oh, we had the best. Oh, see, and we paid, our rent was $1,200 and there was 9 of us in the place. Me and my roommate paid more. We paid $250 each because we got the master bedroom with our own bathroom. Yeah. And so I just had to share it with one other person. And we had 2 other bathrooms that they had to share between 3 people each.
Yeah.
I think there's one aspect that is pretty prevalent in today's youth, or at least their usage, is food delivery apps.
Oh yeah, we didn't have those when I was in school.
Those fees alone, and then also, you know how they upcharge you for the food, like you pay more through the app than you would going in, and then on top of the fees, I can imagine that's eating like a pretty big chunk of that demographic's disposable income.
I mean, it's got to be, but I never we didn't have it when I was a kid or when I was in my 20s. And then I didn't think it came out till I was like 31 or 32. It started to be a thing. We didn't have Ubers either. That was the days of piling into a car and hoping somebody was sober enough to drive home.
See, that kind of makes it to where living, like going back home to live with your parents during that time or after college, it's a lot more valuable because you're saving on more because there's more expenses out there in the world for just a single person living on their own.
You know, God bless you if you can live with your parents after high school. The day I turned 18, I was still in high school, and I was like, I'm moving out. And my mom's like, you cannot move out. I'm like, I am. And then she begged me, so I stayed through the end of high school. But yeah, after high school, I was gone. I mean, I love my folks, but I needed my own space. I can't imagine going back in my 20s.
Yeah. All my friends in college, it was like, I'd rather just pay the extra. Like I'm already paying mentally if I live there, so I'd rather just spend money.
My mom's awesome, man. I mean, she's great, but still,
All right,
zero chance.
Well, there's been a few. I've been, I'm chronically online. I've seen a few examples this year of people going down to Houston for spring break and getting scammed. They were basically going to, for when they want to hang out for nightlife, they're going to clubs and stuff like that. And I saw a story or a post the other night of a young lady who paid about $2,500 for a section in a nightclub. And they told her that her section wouldn't be ready until after midnight, but the club closed at 2 a.m.
That sucks.
And they would not give her money back.
That sucks.
So speaking of those things, what are some favorite spring break stories that you guys have from your college days?
Yeah, I've never been scammed that hard. I'll tell you, this is not quite a spring break story, but I did get scammed in Barcelona. I don't know if you've ever been to Barcelona. We were in Paris, and if you go to Paris, they like hate Americans, so they don't want you to come anywhere. And then we went to Barcelona right after that, and people literally like walk down the street trying to drag you into their restaurant or nightclub because they want you to come there. So it was kind of a huge difference, and we were really excited to mess with it. But I was with a big group of people I had just met, and this guy comes up and he's like, yo, come to our nightclub. We've got free drinks and girls and everything. It's just $20 a person. And so he drags like 10 of us over. We all paid 20 euros at the time, and we got in, and there was nobody. There was nobody in the whole, it was completely empty.
Private club.
And so we were all looking at each other, and we all just burst out laughing, and we were like, screw it. So we went to the bar and started drinking and just made a party with 8 of us in this huge nightclub. And I'm pretty sure they were thinking we would leave after we saw, but we were like, no. So the wait staff were all kind of mad that we were still hanging out. It was really fun. But then I started tipping the bartender, and it was a lot of fun. But yeah, lots of scams traveling. Pickpockets. One of my friends got pickpocketed over in Europe and in Vegas when we were on break. This was after college. We were in spring break, but a friend of ours got pickpocketed on the Strip in Vegas.
Man.
But I can't imagine paying for a $2,500. First off, I can't imagine paying $2,500
Right.
to go to a club. Like I can't imagine that. I have paid a bottle service. I paid $300 once, and I thought that was ridiculously extravagant
For a $20 bottle.
Right? Yeah, and it was just we all chipped in $50. There were like 6 of us. We all chipped in, and we're like, we'll do it, and we got it. It was pretty fun, but $2,500 is bananas.
Yeah, and you still got to pay for bottles after that. And you got to think that essentially you're just paying $2,500 to have a place to sit down in the club.
Yeah,
That's it. That's all you're paying for. So
it's unbelievable.
But speaking of getting robbed abroad, we have in this ever evolving global conflict that is the operation in Iran. I forget what they're calling it these days. It's like Solid Eagle or some crazy name.
I love these names they come up with.
Right? They
It's
just-
like an 8-year-old who's watched too many action movies and he's just coming up with names.
no, you know my
Blunt Force,
that's what I'm saying.
Strike Team.
That was my favorite one. Blunt Force was my favorite one.
It's unbelievable.
But in response to spiking oil prices, President Trump has given a waiver to what's called the Jones Act. Now, before we started, Scott, I asked you if you were familiar with it because I was not familiar with this, so I had to go do the Googles. And it essentially only really applies to transportation of oil from the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America, depending on what political party you're with, and to the eastern seaboard of the United States. And it says that only U.S. ships and U.S. personnel are allowed to transport that. Now, with the waiver of that, it does open the door for more, competition in the shipping, which is supposed to bring down lower shipping costs. However, economists have weighed in and said that the maximum impact that this could have anywhere in the United States is roughly about 10 cents a gallon, but the national average of impact is going to be less than a penny per gallon. So what do you kind of see as that sweet spot for us to be in, where gasoline is not going to start breaking the bank, and what can we do when it gets to the point that it does break the bank?
Well, I love high gas prices. So just to throw it out there, I'm sorry. I hope it hits $20 a gallon because then I'm making a fortune in the oil business.
That's fair.
But to be honest, oil costs us about $50 a barrel, $45 a barrel to get out of the earth. And so we're breaking even at $45 a barrel, which you would see $2.20 gas prices, something like that. At $60 to $70, we're making enough profit that we can then drill. That's around $2.80, $2.90 a gallon, something like that. I'm just spitballing. I might not be 100% accurate. And when you're at $100 a barrel, we're making some good money, but gas prices are going to be creeping $3.50 up to $4. If you go over $100, gas is going to be over $4. And that's in Oklahoma. Outside of Oklahoma on the coast, it might be $6 or $7. In some places that are harder to get to, like Hawaii or other places like that, it might be $8 to $10. And at that point, people are going to start having a real problem. They're going to start stealing gas. We saw that happen way back in, when was that, Calvin? People started having locks on their gas caps and stuff. It was like a big thing.
It was the early 2000s, I want to say.
Yeah, so once it goes over $4, they'll start siphoning gas, they'll start stealing gas. It just becomes a real struggle.
Problem. I forgot all about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a whole thing for a while. I remember I walked out one time to my gas tank almost empty after I just filled it up because somebody siphoned it off.
And I remember they would wait to see, like, they would follow you home from the gas station.
Right, yeah.
They would wait to see who just filled up their car. And then they follow you home, and then as soon as you go in and go to bed, then they're siphoning your whole gas tank out.
Yep.
I mean, with like water hoses and turkey bags, it was crazy.
Well, you can just you get a hose and you put it in there and you can suck it until it comes into your mouth, and then it's just physics. It'll keep pulling.
Yep.
So,
what about Dylan? You said when you guys went on spring break, you used to go pick anywhere that you could drive, right? So, what was your driving radius? Like, would you say like anywhere that we can get to in less than X amount of hours?
Yeah, I would say like usually the cap was like about 15 hours, you know?
Yeah, that's a good
like,
number. I was going to say 16 because we drove to
Yeah.
Vegas a couple times, and that's 16 hours from Stillwater.
Yeah.
So let's see if we're looking at here. Let's see, from Oklahoma, that's probably about 3 hours past Denver, which puts you roughly in what, about like right around Utah, right?
You can get to Utah, Nevada. You can go north up to North Dakota or the Badlands, but I mean, there's nothing up there.
So that's roughly about
All of Texas.
yeah.
900 miles. Let's say at today's gas prices, you'd be at about
Oh, it's about what you can get. It's about 40 gallons, right? Because you can
Yeah.
get 25-ish gallons to the mile, so that's 1,000.
yeah.
So it's about what, $1,200?
Yeah. So we're looking at it could be a
Is it that much?
difference. It could be a difference of
No, $120.
Yeah. I was
Not
like, that's
1,200.
a lot. I
Not
was like, I
1,200.
don't think I spent that much.
That's crazy.
well, we could be looking
Yeah.
at a difference of that trip costing $120 one way. So let's say 240 round trip. Let's round it up to 250 to where this is talking about going and where Scott mentioned it could get to. I mean, that could be a $600 trip easily. And over the course of 4 to 5 weeks of these expanding oil prices. I don't know what this is going to do for us when it comes summertime, but I can only imagine that with a lot of the events and stuff that we have coming in this year, like this is really gonna turn pretty ugly pretty quick if it doesn't change.
I think if that first number changes to a 4 for most of the Midwest, which would mean it'd be closer to 6 for the coasts, you're going to be in some trouble.
What's the most you've ever paid for a price of, or a gallon of gasoline, Scott?
Well, now in the States, I've paid I think $8 when we were up in Washington one year, because they get pretty high up in that area sometimes. Nailed it. But the most I ever paid was like $14 a liter, which is I think like $20 a gallon or something like that, if my math is right. But we were on a tiny island, and we only needed 6 gallons for a week of travel.
That's crazy. What about you, Dylan?
Yeah, I want to say it's about under $4, like that I've personally paid for, and I was on the way to New Orleans, which I don't remember how far away that is, but it might have been more than that 15 hours.
I've never been to New Orleans.
Never been?
I don't know if I would have survived.
I just was there for a couple of days because I was actually going on a cruise for my birthday. And then at that gas station, I got ripped off. They stole my money. Like, it was
did
a
they?
skimmer. Was that what it's called?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's happened to me before at a gas station. Yeah, they skin your car to details.
And they took like $500 that I had for the vacation, and then I had to like call my mom. And, like,
Did you get it back?
I got it back,
Yeah.
but it was like so annoying that it was like literally like day one of, you know.
So what you're telling me is your Barcelona is in Louisiana.
There you go.
I saw some crazy stuff in New Orleans to the point where it's like, I'm not going back there unless I go with someone who like knows what's up. Like, you have to eat here. You have to try this. Like, they need to take me on a tour. I'm not going by myself. I'm not figuring that out. That was, we saw some things that is crazy.
Somebody posted the other day a picture of the little small islands down at the very tip of Louisiana. And was like, and asked, who lives here and what goes on there.
Oh, I love that on Reddit.
Yeah.
I love when they circle weird places and they're like, who lives here? And then always the answer is, it's my time to shine. And then somebody who lives in this weird spot starts writing a paragraph.
I think the most I ever paid was probably during the latter parts of COVID when we were really having that supply crisis. And I was living in Oregon, so one of those coastal states. And I think it was about $5.10 a gallon. And I said if it went any higher, I was selling my car and I was going back to riding the bus. That was ridiculous.
That's a fair plan.
Yeah, just madness. But speaking of madness, March Madness is here.
Yeah.
We are hosting first and second round games here in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This is the first time since 2016 that the NCAA men's tournament has been hosted here in Oklahoma City. It's being likened.
This is the first time?
First time since 2016.
2016. Oh, okay.
2016. Thousands of fans, media, and officials are expected to come to Oklahoma City for the tournament, first and second rounds, and they're expected to generate over $10 million for the local economy. The games held at the Paycom Center are expected to draw crowds from across the country. They're likening it to the impact to basically a 3-day-long Oklahoma City Thunder playoff game. 8 teams from the South region will be featured in games scheduled for today and Saturday. And visitors are expected to fill downtown hotels, restaurants, and attractions. Like we said, this is the first time since 2016, so I wanted to pick your brain.
It's like the third time you said since 2016, and it's making me angry. Because 2016 was like last year. What are we talking about?
It really
like
was.
since 2016, like it was that long ago.
Well, no, because we were actually, for a long time, we were a regular spot for the NCAA tournament.
No,
And
I
so
get it.
yeah.
It's just 2016 was 10 years. That's just making me angry. I'm sorry. Continue with the.
But let me ask you this. What do you guys think are some good ideas for some little side hustles that people can take advantage of when events like this come to their area?
You better be signed up with Uber and DoorDash,
Yeah.
right? Like immediately.
That's
like
a
if
big
you're
one.
broke, you should be Ubering the entire time this is going on.
Yeah, I agree.
People are going to be hitting the bars after games. They're going to be going all over the place. There'll be surge pricing probably, or dynamic pricing, whatever the hell they call it. You'll be making all kinds of money.
See, I always thought that maybe offering yourself up as like a downtown guide.
Yeah, not a bad idea either.
Those are kind of like some out of the box things. I mean, I think the easy thing is maybe selling T-shirts, but I don't know if you run into like some licensing issues, and then you have to get stuff printed up ahead of time and all that kind of stuff. But I was just thinking of just some small little things that people could do.
Don't sell T-shirts. That's a bad idea. You can get in more trouble than you can make money. Like it's not worth it. But Uber and DoorDash are going to be good. Anything that you could hawk on the side of the street, bottles of water,
Definitely.
people out there, scalping tickets. I'm sure if you're making some money, and not that I don't know if that's 100% legal, but I'm sure there's guys out there making some money. But yeah, there's lots of little side hustles that go around sports. There's also monster influx of thieves and pickpockets that come to these events. There'll be a lot of adult workers hanging around too.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You say no to the T-shirts just because of like licensing image stuff. So like if I went down there with like clear bags for
That's
people,
a good fun idea. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the water bottle thing definitely, because I think during this time that they're here, temperatures are going to be unseasonably hot. I believe that we're supposed to be in the upper 80s today, and then through the weekend it's supposed to get up into the 90s. So definitely the bottled water thing. I even thought about possibly doing the in the same vein as Uber and Lyft, signing up for one of those things where they do the scooters, the little electric scooters, and you can sign up to get paid to charge them, collect them, charge them, and put them back out. Yeah. Those type of things as well. So,
to be fair though, to sell bottles of water or to hawk things on the street, you do have to have a permit. And you do have to have a sales tax permit as well. So you have to get a permit from the city, and you have to get a sales tax permit and collect sales tax on anything that you're selling, technically. And then you also have to get, if you're selling food, even water, I think you have to get a health permit too. Now, I highly doubt that anybody who's down there hawking stuff has any of these permits, but the cops can stop you. They can confiscate your money. It's a whole thing.
also like the idea if you have like a talent or you're musically talented or something.
Busking is not a bad idea down there.
Just playing in some of those open areas. So I mean, there's a lot of things. I just wanted to make sure that.
You know, I do like your idea of tour guide, though. That's like a really clever one. Where would you advertise something like just Craigslist or Facebook or Instagram or something?
I mean, I think
I said Craigslist. That really dated me. I'm sorry. You can't do that kind of. It got weird. Don't do Craigslist.
I think that where you advertise is definitely probably one of the most important things because it has to be somewhere where somebody is expected to meet someone trustworthy. Because you are talking about meeting somebody in person and moving around in an unfamiliar city with that person under their lead. So if you could get, an ad out there in anything like the local newspaper, travel guides, or anything like that, Those are definitely pluses, but they do take a little bit of legwork beforehand. But if you're just gonna go out there for the gusto, then hey, spend some money and do it old school with the little A-frame sign that you put over yourself.
You know what I used to do back in the day when I was having way too much fun? I was doing Ubers to the bars and stuff and going out with my friends, and I got so sick. I got stuck so many times. But this was before I think Uber was quite as big as it is now. This is kind of in the early days. And so there's a few times I got stuck. Like I was living in Norman one time. I got stuck in downtown Oklahoma City, and I couldn't get an Uber back to Norman where my house was. So I ended up getting a hotel room for the night until I could get a ride the next day. But one of these times I was traveling, I met a guy. He had it was like an Uber Black, one of the fancy ones, but he had a card, and he just he handed me his card, and he's like, if you want me to just pick you up and take you home on certain nights, you can just book me for the night. And so I would pay him like $100, and he would take me out and drop me off, and then he would just be waiting for me when it was time to go home. And so it was like, I mean, it was like $60 for an Uber at the time. I'd pay $100 for a guaranteed ride. I think if you're doing something like that, it's not a bad move to try to do that. I don't know if that circumvents Uber and Lyft's rules, but something like that. Drive people around, take them to the bars, take them to dinner, show them around town, show them where the best places are. Also, some kind of like concierge service would be really nice. Like just here, I can get you a reservation at these certain places that are nice, and like this is where you should eat and that kind of thing.
Yeah, especially if you have connections where you can get discounted tickets and things like that to museums and stuff on a regular basis. That definitely comes in handy.
It's not a bad idea. Yeah, I like that tour guide.
All right. Well, any other thoughts, you guys, on just our random kind of back and forth over these subjects and topics?
I really want to hear what the craziest thing you saw in New Orleans is. Yeah, I've been thinking about it since you said it.
We gotta hear that. You gotta hear it.
Okay, so we were driving around because we knew that there was a Banksy's. So you know Banksy's? The
the
street
artist.
art? Yeah. So we knew that there was one kind of like, 10 minutes from where we were. So we were trying to drive around, and it's literally like random side of a building. Like it's super run down. We're about to get out, and then we see this guy. And he like comes out, he's not wearing shoes, he pulls out his backpack, he starts shooting up, and then he shoots in between his toes and his arm, like literally like hits like 8 spots and then falls over into the trash can. And we were literally opening our doors to like go out, and it's the trash can, of course, right next to the
that he just nodded off into.
Yeah.
Oh my.
And then there are some other weird things. We went on a haunted tour, which was very interesting, but our tour guide kept like doing this thing where he's like, yeah, like the police left, so if you hear something, you should just run. I was like, he's like, I know there's a lot of ladies in here. Yeah, y'all shouldn't separate.
Yeah.
Like, it's not good. And he's like, okay, bye. And then he like disappeared. And I was like,
as you're making that accent too and imitating him, I can picture exactly what that idiot looks like.
Staff.
Too. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then every time he would like hit us with like, because it was supposed to be a haunted tour. We were there for like ghost time, like story times, hear the like history, because there's a lot of like history. There's like just really weird, spooky stuff that goes on there. And then he would just be like, yeah, so like this is, what, for centuries or whatever, this is what, like the towns thought, but I don't know. I'll leave that up to you. It could be just a piece of crap. And I'm like, wait, what?
I love it. I love it. Tour guide keeping it real.
Yeah.
Shout
it was
out
fun.
to the tour guides.
Yeah.
All right, I got one funny one, and then we can quit it. When we were because we were talking about Barcelona, it reminded me of it. When we're walking down the La Risa, which is like the main strip of Barcelona, all these little tapas bars and stuff, and it's like 3:00 in the afternoon, and I'd had a couple cocktails, and we're walking through eating. You go to these little places, you eat little snacks, and you have a drink, and you go down, but it's still early in the day, like we're having a fun time, and I see this guy walking at us. And he's like super tan, and he's got these dark shorts on. And I'm looking at him, and I'm like, there is something strange about this guy. And like as he gets closer and closer, like I can't figure out what the hell is what I'm seeing. Like my brain is not connecting it. And he gets like right up next to us, and it finally clicks. He is butt ass naked and he has tattooed shorts on his body. everything what you're imagining too was also tattooed completely. And that's how he just walked around. And I'm like walking, and I asked somebody, I was like, is that legal? He's like, well, he's covered up. It's fine. Like, all right.
You can't really
Just
see
down
it.
the main street. It was the most bizarre thing I had ever seen. It was wild.
All right. Well, we will end it there. We want to thank everybody for tuning into our spring break madness. You can catch us every week here on the Turtlesmith podcast. Follow us on the web at Turtlesmith OK. Check out our live streams Thursdays on YouTube at 4:30 p.m. Central. And next week, maybe we'll have John back. But today we have Scott Hess and the lovely Dylan. And
No last name.
The best
Street,
last name. It was the
Steele.
Dylan Steele. So
It sounds like a movie star.
I know it really does, like an action hero. But thanks, guys. See you later. You can catch us every week here on the Turtlesmith podcast.
This is always annoying to ask, but if you're liking this content, please like and subscribe. It's the best way for us to get more followers and more people engaged in this great business content. You can also follow us on all socials at Turtlesmith OK and find us at turtlesmith.com.
No last name.